Hello everyone, so the Artemis 2 mission concluded with a success, and we look forward to Artemis 3. However, we don't know when that will be, considering they have to actually get the landers ready, and we don't even know which lander, the one from SpaceX or the one from Blue Origin, will actually be the one to do Artemis 3. In the Artemis 3 mission, they will be testing the lander in low Earth orbit, so there is no going to the moon on that one. But that is a whole fraught process that's going to take some time, probably longer than the administrator would like, especially since Administrator Isaacman said that he wanted a launch cadence of 10 months, every 10 months for SLS. So, well, I guess we should figure out other things to do with SLS, right? I mean, otherwise we're constantly waiting for stuff. So, well, I don't know if this is the best application to look for in the short term, but it is one of the things that I would include in the Artemis Applications Program. So in the Apollo program, they had the Apollo Applications Program that eventually led to Skylab. So they decided to take one of the third stages of the Saturn V rocket and turn it into a space station. This is more or less the same idea, but slightly different, in that they're going to have to renovate the interior. It doesn't come ready to go. They're going to have to do some work on it. And I've shown this idea before. It is the SLS Wet Workshop. And you'll note that this isn't one of the existing SLS mods because I had to make it especially for this. Because the oxygen tank has to be separate from the hydrogen tank. The oxygen tank becomes the space station. The hydrogen tank continues to be a fuel module, and of course then the SSMEs are useless, but the SSMEs are going to be useless anyway. They only have one ignition. Right now they have 0 ignitions. Oh, well, that's because they have to be on ground clamps. Anyway, what we have here is a small nuclear engine. The NASA NTP architecture engine from 2019. It's got 111 kilonewtons, and it would use the hydrogen tank. And so a refueler would come, top off the hydrogen tank. The hydrogen tank, even though it's very physically big, doesn't actually involve that much mass. So something like Starship could probably fill it up. And then they have the oxygen tank to live in. But okay. Let's just get it off the ground and see how it goes. I'm a little bit worried because it sort of shook initially when coming onto the pad, and it's leaning into that clamp. So, okay, so SAS on, throttle is up, ignition. And launch. Okay, go up, go up, go up, go up. Don't hit the tower. Alright, we're clear of the tower. Tower cleared. So no upper stage here. What's in the fairing is another crew module, just like an ISS module, that will have the supplies to renovate the oxygen tank. So, and we also have additional food, water, and oxygen for quite a long time. You would have to completely redo the back end to fit an engine on it there. And also you would have to protect that engine from the heat of the SSMEs, or RS-25s in this case. The Delta V is reading something weird here. I guess it's because of the boosters. It always has trouble with the boosters. This would not launch crewed, of course. We would have to send some sort of capsule to it. Doesn't matter which capsule. Okay, booster set. If we decide to send crew up to it in high orbit, then probably Orion would be necessary. But for renovations, it would probably be done in lower orbit. Okay, fairings. So, you can see the little module there. Technically, it should have a hatch up front. Also a docking port, but I happen to not have those in this install. And you can see the ISS-like interior. That's actually a model from NASA. I just adapted it for Kerbal. Somebody's been bugging me to do SLS Heavy. Well, that's sort of pedestrian, though. I think the Artemis Applications Program is much more interesting. I want to severely increase the launch cadence of SLS so it gets cheaper. We should be mass producing these things. Probably make some senators happy anyway. Okay, making orbit. We probably should be in a higher orbit to start off with, but this will do for now. And what you'll see here is it says we have 1,271 meters per second. That's because we're not carrying much of a load. We don't have an upper stage or anything. So this is all fairly light. And we have some RCS thrusters up front to help here, so that will be part of the front module that gets adapted to this. And what they would have to do first is, of course, dump the oxygen in this tank. So let's see, the liquid oxygen. Dump. The RCS tanks seem to carry very little. I'll have to double check that. Okay, so yeah, we have way too little RCS in the little RCS tanks. Oh, they got depleted. Oh, I need to check fuel priority. Somebody asked me for hints on fuel priority. Clearly, I'm not the right person to ask about that. Okay, but now that we have dumped the oxygen in that tank, we will shut down these, of course. And they should probably remove these. Activate our nuclear engine. I was expecting a lot more delta V out of the nuclear engine than that. How did we have 1,300 with the SSMEs? Well, we'll have to refuel this. Clearly, we didn't get as much delta V out of it as I would have liked in the end. Anyway, but the interior, let's open up the hatch of this. Open hatch. So then you have many floors in here. We've got some computers from the NASA ISS module there, model, and then some planters, potentially, you know. I don't know what they're growing, but they've got some planters in, and I could have put more stuff in here, but you can see how many floors there are in this. It's a pretty large living space. When you think about this being 8.4 meters in diameter, and you know, there's, you know, 1 floor, 2 floor, 3, 4 floor, you know, and you can have a lot of those. And then you have this huge tank and a very efficient nuclear engine in order to push all of it. Now, I probably should have slapped some solar panels here. We're not going to have enough power. So we need solar panels, we need radiators, and a few other things. So, you know, many amenities, definitely docking port and hatch up front. But that's the idea. That's the SLS Wet Workshop. I've shown it in videos before. I think I've put it to some use. But we can explore it further. And is it a good idea? I mean, it's a better use of the core of SLS than just dumping it, I suppose. As far as the engines coming back, of course, having the nuclear engine there precludes doing smart reuse. I was thinking of making a smart reuse module. I still haven't done that yet. Another way to reuse it is just to send a Starship up, have the astronauts remove the SSMEs, put them in the Starship, and have the Starship bring them back. That might be the best use of Starship ever. So, you know, then this ends up being a very efficient sort of vehicle. Let's take a look in the SPH exactly how much delta V we would get out of this if it was fully fueled, and also how much mass that is. Okay, so we dumped the liquid oxygen here. As you can see, with a full tank of hydrogen, we get 5,819 meters per second, which is plenty to travel to the moon and then make orbit around the moon, of course. Well, you probably need to refuel it over there if you want to not only you can travel back to Earth, but then you can't get into a low orbit around Earth again like this. So you would need to refuel it in order to make a low orbit around Earth. The burn time is pretty long, so it's gonna need to do multiple boost ups before actually reaching the moon because of that 3-hour burn time. It's a very small nuclear engine by comparison to everything else. And the amount of fuel we're talking about is about 140 tons. So if we're talking about just 100 tons that we're going to refuel it, then we still have enough to transfer to the moon and make orbit around the moon, but not get back like that. And then if you have, let's say, a 70 ton, I think the New Glenn 9x4 can manage 70 tons. That's about there. That's only enough to transfer and do a high capture around the moon. Again, with this module here, which has a lot of supplies here, we've got, I don't have an easy way of putting crew here right now. Okay, we're pretending that Starliner actually manages to visit this thing. And what you can see with 7 crew, we have 1 year and 20 days of supplies, 2 years and 140 days of water for some reason, and 1 year and 200. So we probably need to rebalance that anyway. If anything, we need more food and less water. But that's how we have it right now for some reason. Anyway, so yes. Well, there's no point in me changing the fuel priority right now because we would want that on the launch version. But that's the shape of it here. So it's not just a station. Unlike Skylab, it can actually go places. It's actually a ship. And then we'd still have to put the radiator, so it cut down on the Delta V like that. But it has promise, you know. It's something to do with the core stage that isn't just letting it burn in the atmosphere. But it would take a lot of planning and doing and money that NASA does not have, of course. But if you wanted to launch SLS every 10 months or have a robust space program, you would need more money. So anyway, hopefully, you know, we can always hope. We can always hope that we do ambitious things like this. Not necessarily this. This might not be the best way to use the nuclear engine. It's an intriguing way to use the nuclear engine, but it might not be the best way. And of course, we don't have the nuclear engine yet. But anyway, that's idea 1. That is the first idea in the Artemis Applications Program, the SLS Wet Workshop. And I hope to introduce or reintroduce some of the other ideas that have popped up from time to time in coming videos. So with that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time.